Some places on Earth are considered so dangerous, people only enter them once. Deep beneath mountains, hidden below forests, or sealed behind rusted metal doors, there are locations surrounded by disappearances, terrifying stories, and unexplained events. Places where rescue teams refuse to return. Places where strange sounds still echo through the darkness. And places where people vanished without leaving a single trace behind. Tonight, we're looking at some of the most disturbing places people never return from. So turn off the lights, and let's begin. Some places on Earth are considered so dangerous, people only enter them once. Deep beneath mountains, hidden below forests, or sealed behind rusted metal doors, there are locations surrounded by disappearances, terrifying stories, and unexplained events. Places where rescue teams refuse to return. Places where strange sounds still echo through the darkness. And places where people vanish without leaving a single trace behind. Tonight, we are looking at the most disturbing places people disappeared in. So turn off the lights, and let's begin. The Black Forest, Germany. For decades, people traveling through this forest have reported an overwhelming feeling of dread. The trees are so dense that sunlight barely reaches the ground. During the night, the forest becomes completely silent. No birds, no wind, nothing. Local residents avoid certain paths entirely, especially a narrow section deep inside the woods known as the Crook Trail. Hunters who entered the area claimed their compasses behaved strangely. Some reported hearing footsteps following them between the trees despite seeing nobody nearby. Others described distant whispering late at night, and according to local legends, people have been disappearing inside the forest for over a century. In 1998, a group of 3 hikers entered the area during a camping trip. According to their families, the group planned to stay inside the forest for only one night, but they never returned. Search teams spent nearly 2 weeks looking through the mountains and surrounding woods. Eventually, rescuers found their abandoned campsite near a small river. The fire was still partially intact. Their backpacks remained untouched, food remained inside the tents, and one of their cameras was discovered lying beside a tree. The final photograph taken on the device showed only darkness between the trees. But investigators noticed something disturbing. Far in the background, there appeared to be a tall human-like figure standing between the forest shadows. The image was blurry, yet the shape looked almost unnaturally tall. No explanation was ever found. The hikers completely vanished. No footprints, no signs of violence, nothing. And locals still claim strange lights sometimes move through the trees at night. Some even believe parts of the forest somehow distort sound and direction, trapping people deeper inside. But the deeper you travel into the Black Forest, the more unsettling the silence becomes, because eventually, you stop hearing the outside world entirely. A group of experienced hikers entered the mountains during an expedition across the snowy terrain. Several days later, all communication with the group suddenly stopped. At first, nobody panicked. Storms in the mountains often delayed expeditions, but as more time passed, rescue teams were finally sent into the area. What they discovered shocked everyone involved. The group's campsite had been partially buried beneath snow. But something was horribly wrong. The tent had been ripped open from the inside, as if the hikers were desperately trying to escape. Footprints showed the group fleeing into the freezing darkness without proper clothing. Some bodies were later found scattered across the mountain. Others were discovered months later beneath deep snow. Several victims had severe injuries, broken ribs, fractured skulls. Yet there were almost no external wounds. Investigators struggled to explain what could have caused such damage. Even stranger, one victim's camera contained photographs taken shortly before the incident. The final images showed blurred lights moving through the darkness between the mountains. To this day, no one fully agrees on what happened there. Some believe the hikers were caught in a natural disaster, Others believe something far stranger forced them from the tent that night. And many locals still refuse to travel through the area alone. Especially after sunset, the Hanging Cave, Vietnam. Hidden deep inside the mountains of Vietnam lies a cave system so massive that clouds can form inside it. The entrance itself looks like a giant crack leading directly into darkness. Most visitors only explore the safer outer sections, but deeper inside the cave, enormous underground chambers stretch for kilometers beneath the earth. Some sections are so large they contain underground rivers, jungles, and entire ecosystems hidden from the outside world. In 2021, two explorers entered a restricted area beyond one of the underground rivers. According to their guide, they ignored warnings and continued deeper into the cave system alone. Hours later, their lights suddenly disappeared in the distance. The guide attempted to call for them repeatedly, but only echoes answered back, then silence, complete silence. Rescue teams later searched the tunnels for several days. Eventually, they discovered one backpack near a flooded chamber. The flashlight inside was still working, but the explorers themselves were gone. Cave divers later admitted that some sections below the cave remain completely unmapped, and certain underwater tunnels descend so deep, nobody knows where they lead. Some experts believe entire chambers may still exist beyond the flooded sections, hidden beneath thousands of tons of rock, completely unreachable. The underground station, Ukraine. Beneath an abandoned industrial district lies an unfinished underground station built during the Soviet era. Officially, the project was cancelled decades ago, but locals claim workers disappeared there during construction. The tunnels were eventually sealed, or at least, most of them were. Urban explorers who entered the station reported hearing strange metallic sounds echoing through the corridors. Some described distant voices underground. Others claimed their flashlights suddenly stopped working near the deeper tunnels. In 2022, a small group of explorers uploaded footage from inside the station. The video showed flooded platforms, broken tracks, and massive concrete corridors disappearing into darkness. Rust covered the walls, water slowly dripped from the ceiling, and every sound echoed endlessly through the empty station. At one point, the group discovered a metal door covered in warning symbols. The door stood slightly open. One of the explorers slowly pointed his flashlight inside. The room beyond appeared completely empty, but seconds later, the camera captured movement near the back wall. Something quickly stepped out of sight. The group immediately began running back through the station. Their breathing echoed violently through the tunnels. Metallic footsteps could suddenly be heard somewhere behind them. Then the footage suddenly stopped. The final upload appeared online the next morning. Since then, none of the explorers have posted again, and according to local reports, nobody has entered the underground station since. But perhaps the most disturbing part about these places is that many of them still exist today. Hidden beneath forests, buried below mountains, or sealed deep underground, waiting, silent, dark, and completely unexplained. Because sometimes, the scariest places on Earth are the ones we still don't fully understand.